Hello and welcome to my first broadcast. I'm aware that possibly my viewing public are a very select few today, but that's fine because I live in a house full of boys and I'm quite used to talking to myself. So why am I here and why am I talking to you via this particular medium today? It's because it's an immediate medium. Facebook and Twitter are both very immediate, and I already use them to get my message out, to keep up with friends, to make new friends. So here I am live. Vanity? Possibly. But look, Mum, I'm on the telly. Seriously though, the way that I work in seeing my clients via Skype is very important, as being able to see the other person and to respond to their body language creates a nice bond that helps me to engage with my client more immediately. It's not always crucial, but it is the way that I prefer to work. So I'm thinking it's all very well seeing my tweets and my updates and reading my blog, looking at my website, but the words that I use, the words that I choose to use when I in social media, I can choose which part of me that I let you see. So to actually be able to see me and to interact like this gives you a better sense of who I am, whether you want to talk to me again on social media, whether you want to work with me. So having said that, I am going now to tell you a little bit about who I am, what I do and why I do it. This will also be the first interview that will form part of the running order for future broadcasts. Obviously, I will be interviewing other people in the future. Now, I live with 6 of my 8 children. My eldest is a soldier, and number 2 son has his own family now, my grandson Alfie, who's 3. Of the remaining 6 children, 3 are adults and an older teenager, and my youngest are 10, 6 and 4. I nearly forgot that then. my little girl is 4 and absolutely my nemesis. We live in a very modest house, so as you can imagine, being organised is essential to everything, getting out of the door in the morning, putting food on the table and just being able to walk down a corridor. I work out of my front bedroom here, and I can see through my window, my office window, a nice patch of grass and a huge great big oak tree, which I call my tree because I absolutely love to see it, especially when it's all in leaf in the summer. And actually being able to, although we live in the middle of the city, actually being able to see some greenery does lift the spirits a lot, especially when you're stuck in your office and you think, oh, I'd love to be out there. Over the last couple of years, things have happened and I've now positioned myself and my business so that I am right here in the middle of my life, my little world. And I am able to always put my family first, and the way that I work is very fluid, so that if my daughter-in-law needs me to babysit my grandson while she's at work or whatever, I'm able to do that without much disruption. And that to me is absolutely the most important thing. I've been through a lot of years where I'm fighting to find time with my children and to be with my family, so to be where I am at the moment is lovely. It's a blessing, it really is, and it does my soul no end of good. So as many of you will know, I do come from a PR and marketing background, which is hugely stressful, and up until a few years ago took me away from my family a lot. In fact, my older boys were pretty much brought up by nannies and childcare, and at least two of them I didn't see their first steps, but I have a photo that somebody gave me of those first steps, and that is no way to live. I will say at this point that after my first marriage failed about 15 years ago, I had to support my family. I had 5 children at that time, and I went back to work. I did on-the-job training, I did evening classes, I did an open university course, and I worked my way up the ladder. I worked for an agency because people expect temps back in the day, back in the early mid-90s. People expected temps to be a little bit daft, if you like. So that's how, by the time I went back to work, computers had all of a sudden arrived. So I learned to use a computer by going into companies as a temp, and all these different companies would give me different skills. Now, of course, everybody works like that. We're all portfolio workers. So, although I've gone on to have more children in those 15 years, I'm afraid that my relationships have been rather short-lived. So effectively, I have been a single mother for a very long time, and that has been tough. There have been occasions when I haven't been the mother I should have been. There have been occasions where life has completely overwhelmed me, and there was one point where social services took an interest, and they were absolutely right to do that. But I've always been aware that everything that happens is a result of the choices that I have made. And over the years I have had to live with some truly soul-destroying consequences because of the choices I made. And every day I have to come to terms with that. And I'm at a point now where actually I'm quite happy with myself and what I live with. So I made a conscious choice to do things differently, to be different, to be the best person I could for my family. So now you'll understand why being here and being able to be available to babysit my grandson, to be able to finish work and go and fetch my children to school is so important to me, as well as having to pay the bills. Life is dynamic. It goes on, it changes, it evolves. And what happens today, we can quite easily make tomorrow's chip paper. Sometimes it's not quite so simple as that. Not always can we do that. That could be done overnight. But mentally, we can say today is today. Tomorrow we start afresh. It's gone. Yesterday's gone. And that is how we have to stand in our lives. Learn and move on. It's what I did. So there's 2 steps that have brought me where I am today. One was deciding to give up working for someone else and start my own PR business. So this brought me closer to my family. But still my business, my work-life balance was heavily tipped in favour of work. And even though I was working at home, I was having to be in London 3 days a week, or I was still in the office at 8 o'clock at night, having just ordered takeaway for the children's tea. So the second step kind of snuck up on me, and I gave up the PR, which was starting to be a drain on my physical and my mental resources. And that happened very gradually without me noticing it. And I think perhaps my PA did notice that I was coming away from the bigger PR jobs. And I was working a lot with with small businesses, and I was treating the businesses as a holistic entities. So I was treating the person's business, but I was also treating their lifestyle and helping them on that level. Then something happened, and I met a life coach, and I thought, oh, this is good. This is what I need, and it absolutely was. And she helped me to see what was going on in my own life and to sort things out. And actually, I thought, do you know what? This is absolutely something that I could do. This is something that would make me happy. This is something that would make me heart-driven. This would be a heart-driven business for me. And that is very important, that things come from my heart. So I did the training, and I did some CBT training and NLP training. But what brings me to being a lifestyle coach is the experience that I have in life, and in organising 9 people every day. And even when I wasn't at my very best, I was still organising all those people and a home and my job, and I picked up along the way a lot of tricks and a lot of ways not to do things. So now my life is much more sedate. My children are sick to death of me, but I don't care, because we are, as a whole, a lot happier. It's very true. There is a saying that says, if mum's happy, everybody's happy. And that is very, very true in our house. And that there is an awful lot of laughter. Most of you who already know me will know I have a very, very dry sense of humour, and I use it on a regular basis, and quite often it gets me into trouble. But laughter, what better medicine is there in life than laughter? And actually having time to laugh. To actually have time to stand in the kitchen with your eldest son, who is trying so hard not to laugh at your mummy joke that he's doing himself an internal injury, and to have the time to just belly laugh. That is life for me. So I hope that gives you a little bit of sense of who I am and where I've come from. You are very, very welcome to question me on any aspect of my life, past, present, future. I will answer all questions very honestly. If there's something that I've touched on with dealing with children, not being the best mother I could have been, there has been domestic abuse in there. If there's anything that you, alcohol abuse, that is touching your life that you want to talk to me about, or you're just interested, please do ask me. I will always be brutally honest with you. So, that having said, I've got a script here, and I've written, I've made the mistake so you don't have to. But I'm thinking, probably you already did. Anyway, moving on to lifestyle management, and what is it? Well, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's putting yourself in control of your environment and creating time to do the other things, like be with your family, creating time to plan where you go next in your career or your business, and having the time to ground yourself emotionally to what's important in your life, and to know your values, and to be grounded in the world that you're living in. Life is hugely dynamic, so your lifestyle has to reflect and support that. Your home should be a supportive base from where you can deal with the dynamic nature of life. You can react quicker and make better choices if you're standing on a solid base, if you feel supported, if you feel safe in your life. You can react so much better, and you are open to the opportunities around you. Now, I do use some of the principles of law of attraction in my own life, and I'm not an expert in law of attraction. I do use it and I do pass it on to my clients. But the very fact that if you're coming from a state of anxiety and you're looking at that little box which is your life, because that's where your business is and your social media, and you're in a state of anxiety all the time, and you're worried about things that are happening outside of your business or your career, and you never have time to find the opportunities, to see the opportunities coming. If you've grounded yourself in your life, if your life is supporting you, and you can just say, okay, so let's have a look this morning, let's read that magazine. There might be an article in that magazine that is relevant to you, that changes the way that you do things, but before you'd never have had time to read the magazine. And my job as a lifestyle coach is to give you that base and to support you whilst you look at all your options. I will. My job is not to tell you how to do it, but if you're being a bit daft, then I'm very likely to tell you that, as your friend as well as your coach. I do also take on clients who have more serious emotional health problems, not serious mental health problems, but the grey areas in between. And I'm very happy to do that. Always my philosophy is to treat the whole person and the environment of all of my clients. It has to be holistic. We have to look at who you are, where you stand, your values, and then make the small changes. And it's always the small changes. When you are in a state of being